I don't agree to that. I think that if we were to have a contingency plan, that Mr. Bernard would come before us with a list of his next best 10. And then from there, we would rank them again. And I don't think that the council should not meet again. I think they should meet again, and I think that they should rank them and not abdicate their
I didn't say
right.
we couldn't meet for a process. I'm just saying we need to make some decision tonight as to whether we would formulate a contingency plan and give some sense of what it might be. I'm not saying we formulate it right now.
She would like exactly something like what you just described to be the contingency plan that we agree on.
But we wouldn't have to meet again to determine that there needed to be one.
Right, well, that's fine with me, but I think that he would have to put together a list of 10.
Yes, yeah, fine.
Because there's so many good, looking at the professions that they have and everything, you know what, there's so many good candidates in this list of 50. I think that it would have to be a list of 10.
Well, whatever, I think we just need to agree whether we think 3 is enough to move forward and then format a contingency, should that be necessary, is all my point was.
Okay. Mr. Rossbach.
Well, on the plus side of the 3 that we have left, 2 of them are the ones that received the most votes. And so I think that the 3 candidates that we do have left are all people that we ranked highly. And although when we did vote, there was a clear line, it still is a mystery to me why there was. I know that I spread my votes further than the majority, I guess. But there's a couple of candidates that we voted on that, quite frankly, in reading through their resumes, I didn't see them as being much different than the people that we had, that got 4 or 5 votes. And so I'm not sure exactly what people saw or didn't see that ended up in the process. And so we just, because there was a clear line, I mean, that's why we decided to cut it off at 5 at the time. And so Eric in his email says, you know, there was a reason why we all agreed to 5. Well, we all agreed to 5 just because it worked out that there was a fairly clear line in the votes. It's not like we agreed to 5 because we had a discussion and determined that the exact qualifications of some of the other ones just weren't there. I did want to remind you, Mayor, that when we were making that original decision, there was some discussion about the fact that the qualifications of the candidates had a fairly sharp drop-off, which was, in my opinion, somewhat evident even in the original dozen people that we looked at, because as we went down the list, there was clearly a couple that did not have the qualifications that the others did. And so Mr. Bernard, when I questioned him about whether there was a pretty steep decline in qualifications, indicated that indeed there was. And it's just as interesting to me that on one hand you're wanting to have seen more information and that type of thing, and on the other hand you just make the statement that just by looking at a list of names that you've determined that there's a lot of other good candidates that you know absolutely nothing about. And so, you know, I'm fine, I guess, proceeding with the 3 that we have in hopes that they will be there and stay the course, and we'll get to make a decision, because I'm quite certain that out of those 3, there's probably 3 good candidates there. And I would think, and I don't know where we kind of ended up at, but I thought when Kathy said that if we had continued decline in the number of people, I think that there should be the opportunity for new applications to be submitted